This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair, we're going to be looking at this Craftsman LT1000. I can't tell you how many of these I've done over the years. I got this in a, I actually bought this and a Craftsman T2400, the one that has the plastic transmission in it. The T2400 runs and drives and cuts, but I have to put some seals in it, axle seals. This appears to have a leaking needle and seat on the carburetor. We'll just throw a new carb in it. Probably spruce up the fuel lines and all that stuff while we do that as well. And I believe the starter's locked on it. So, and the deck belt is off of it. So it looks like we've just got to do the usual stuff on this. You know, rebuild the, or not rebuild the deck, but kind of grind the grooves and stuff back off the mower deck, and put a starter in it, put a carb on it, either charge the battery or put a new battery in it, one of the two. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll give you a quick look around it as well. First thing y'all see is this thing right here was painted red for some reason. I don't know why, but they like masked it off and painted it red, and then I don't know. But either way, it looks fine. It's going to be a $450 mower at the most anyways. So again, there's the green under the hood. There's a wasp nest right there too. At least it's dormant. 17.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton, 42-inch cut. And we've got, at least the blade cable seems to work, so that's good. I have to grind the grooves off of the deck. I just did a Southern States exactly like this, so should be about the same as I did on that. Looks like all the tires are holding air, have tubes in them potentially. I'll check them. And we've got, doesn't look like we have the correct spark plug in it, but it will not turn over, unfortunately. We've got one of these Craftsman keychains, which I love to keep around. So if I can show you, I think it needs a solenoid as well. So we got that going on. Battery's only 2 years old, so it probably will charge up. And this is a 2003 model. It looks like it's a little bit of a conglomeration because it's got the reverse wiring harness on it, or the reverse ignition switch instead of the headlight ignition switch, which is a little odd. And let's see, so those are tight. And let me see if I can put the jump box to it. Actually, no, what I did is I put the jump box to it already, and I crossed the wire terminals down there, and it just sparked. It didn't even attempt to turn the starter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this in the garage. I've had to do a little bit of cleaning out in the garage, so I move a couple things around, get it in here. I'm going to pull this engine cover off, and we're going to see how this is. It looks like the oil was decent for what it is. This kind of did sit under like a deck porch, side porch thing. We'll have to put an air filter in it for a little while, and so we've got that going. Just needs a good cleaning. But I was told it was running earlier this year, so hopefully this doesn't take too much to go with it. The deck belt is off of it as well, so we got to throw a deck belt on it. Fix, grind the grooves out in the deck and that whole standard issue Craftsman stuff that we've got to do. So let me go ahead and get to it. Alright, so we've got the engine cover off. I just about, spiders don't get me, but man, this thing right here is huge. Let me see if I can stimulate them out of here. That's crazy. That is a huge spider. I think I got him though. That thing is, oh man. Wow. Woo! We'll get him out of here. She's a big one. The lady said that, because she had one of them LT1000 Craftsman mowers, I may have actually even done a video on it where the spindle was freed up, or where the spindle was all jacked on it. And traded this mower for one that a guy down the street works on mowers. And so there's the spark plug. It's not the correct spark plug per se, but it does have the right threads on it. We'll put a correct spark plug in it. This starter is seized solid. So I don't know what happened to it, but let's see what we've got here. See if we can even free it up with the pliers or anything. I don't know if WD-40 is going to do anything for this. I have another starter on deck if I need it though. Could just be one of the things where it's set up for a little bit of time and froze up, but no, it's pretty bound up. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bound up. So we're going to replace that. Throw a plug in this thing. So let me grab the tools that I need here. First thing I need is a 7/16 to get this off. Sometimes I just yank it to hopefully get it. There we go. We're not going to be saving this starter anyways, so. So pull that off, and then we've got a couple of halves. Usually, well, there's another one. Holy cow, that one's dead. Luckily, oh, just in time for Halloween with some spiders, huh? Whew. Like I said, they don't get to me, but those are huge. I can get the crescent in here and at least get it started in terms of loosing. That one's not hard to get. Sometimes it's just a little, needs a little encouragement to come off sometimes. Man. Ooh. I put that on backwards. Is it me, or does it always seem like my batteries are dead on my tools? Either way, it's off. I've got another starter here that'll work. That thing is seized pretty bad. This one appears to be turning fine, so I mean, might as well slide this on. Of course, this one's got the bracket on it as well. Let me just pull the see if I can just pull this out and slide this on here. Gotta get those wires behind that little bracket there, which I just did. And now I can take my, sorry if I'm in the way on this, it's just, let's see. Tighten it down with the wrench there, just to make sure everything's straight. We don't have a starter falling off on us. Alright, so that should be good. So that's on now. We'll throw the nut on here. Need to make sure it turns over. The carb is leaking a little bit, so I do need to fix that on it. I'll see if the solenoid's bad now. Like I said, they said this thing was running earlier this year, so let's see if it'll turn over now with the starter. That's good. Awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna find the correct plug to put in it, and I will see if this thing turns over and runs. It is full of oil, which is good. So I may have to jump it off, but we'll see. All right, spark plug's in it. I want to see if it has enough juice to crank over. It'll probably run. It's probably going to be on the what would it be? The rich side, but we'll see. Whoa. Brakes and all that stuff on it too. Runs and drives. Got to do the whole deck situation though, which isn't going to be too bad. Is it going to need a valve adjustment? Maybe. I think when I put a carb on it, that'll help remedy the situation a little bit as well. Next thing I'm going to do, since I know it runs, I am going to take the mower deck and rip it off and fix everything that I need to fix on it. How are the blades on here? Oh, they're pretty bad, so we'll have to put the blades on it. That's good. They just came in today, actually. So this is kind of broken, so I'm probably going to do what I did like on a Southern States mower that I just did, is take this portion off of it and throw a couple of self-tapping screws in it and just be done, just because of how this is just going to be a cheap mower. So we'll take care of that. Let me see if I can see anything obvious down here that caused the issue for the belt to jump off. obvious, so I'm wondering if it just, because this is one of the blue belts too, so I wonder if it just had an alignment issue or something. I'll have to pull this deck off and see what's going on with it. There's a mounting point, you'll see it down here, there's a mounting point right here in the middle. This mounting point in the front, you have the cable that you have to take off. That is on the right idler pulley, mounted in the back. There's and then there's a fifth mounting point in the back that you got to take off. After you do that, you can take the mower deck off and you should be good to go. So I'm going to pull the mower deck off. We're going to do the blades and the brakes. Well, we got to do the blades, the brakes, and fix all the good stuff on it. We should have this thing rolling here fairly shortly because this does not take very long to do. Alright, so I got the mower deck off here, and missing blade brake arms, missing the blade springs, missing the return spring here. We got to remedy those, obviously. The biggest thing is, though, this spindle is shot. So got to take these bolts off right here for the cover. I got one more line down here. Hopefully I can get it off. Oh, he's put a flat head on it. Oh. Let's see if it'll come off. Hopefully it will. Ooh. There we go. So something's going on here. I think this may be worn out. So let me grab my 15/16. You get all the tools out, right? Alright. We might be in luck, and it might just be this pulley that walled out. We'll grab the mower blade underneath here. Let's see. Oh, this upper bearing's bad. So, and the pulley's bad. So, if I can replace that upper bearing, I got bugs galore in this thing. Oh yeah, look at all that water. That's crazy. I may just throw a spindle on it instead of trying to put bearings and stuff, because there's a bunch of water in these things. That one is definitely bad. Look at all the water that came out of it. That's kind of crazy. I wonder how that lower bearing is. It feels okay, actually, but it looks like it's shoved up in there too high. Let me figure out what I want to do here. I'm going to take a check of my spindle inventory, see if I just want to throw a spindle on it and call it a day. So I guess I'm low on Craftsman parts. I took a spindle shaft off of a spindle that needs rebuilding or replaced anyways. So what I'm doing is taking the bearings and I just removed the dust cover off of them, and I'm just packing them with grease and putting the dust cover back on. So, just to get it to where they're going to be a little bit quieter, or remain quiet, hopefully. You just have to take the seal off and then pack them, and then just press the seal back in just like that. This is like a little, I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not, like a little felt piece. So I took the other one out and just cross-referenced it to make sure. I'm going to do the same thing to this. I've already done the upper bearing on this side. I got to put an upper bearing on this one because the bearings are bad. So we'll pack these things with grease, and then I'll just push the seal. Look at all the water that was in that one, man. So what that'll do is that'll go back into place right there. We'll tap it into place very gently with some sort of hitting device. Let me see if what I can find. Alright, so that's back in place. And I'll do the top bearing, and then what I need to do after that is I've got these spindle shafts. I guess I could go ahead and put this one back in here, but the spindle shafts will go in like so, and we'll take care of that, and put a new pulley on it that's good, and then after that we'll take care of the rest of it. Got the bearings and the shafts back in. As you can see, this one's kind of tight, but it'll loosen up as the grease gets hot. So now we're going to pull off this. Got a carriage bolt underneath it. So we'll pull that bolt out, take all of this off, and actually it looks like whoever had this ground out the grooves already. So I'm just going to I think I'm just going to lube all this stuff back up and put it all back on here. That's good. One less thing I have to do here. Get some WD-40. Just make sure everything moves nice and smoothly, like it's supposed to. Hopefully it does. Put that back where it needs to be. Let me see. Actually one of the smoothest moving mechanisms I've ever had here. So that's a pleasant surprise. I found a couple of springs, and I'm going to go source a couple of deck arms so that we have everything here. I'm pretty sure I've got one of these springs as well. So I'm going to get all that spring, all the springs and all that good stuff set up on this thing. And the deck arms, or the blade brake arms. Find me a spring, and we should be in business here in just a minute, hopefully. So I found a couple of parts, the arms for the blade brakes, the springs, and this return spring, and we've got good motion now. So I'm gonna put it back on, find a deck belt for it, and hopefully that right pulley will loosen up a little bit after it heats up the grease. And we're just going to make sure everything works like it should on it. Deck wise, I am going to grind these pulleys down a little bit right here to get some of the rust off of them. This one feels good. I don't know what I'm going to do with the front one quite yet, but I'm going to check that out, make sure that one's good as well, and throw the mower deck back on. I'm going to put a deck belt on it, and hopefully we'll be in business. Alright, got some new blades on here. Everything's jointed up nice down here, so nice and level. Just going to throw the mower deck back on. I think I found a belt that'll work. If not, I'll see if I can source another one. I know I've got to have something that'll work back there if I don't. And hopefully this thing will be cutting grass here, or we'll be able to cut grass here very, very soon. Alright, let's come in here. The mower deck's back on it. I found a belt in the backyard. I did not have a new one, unfortunately, but I had one off of an Ariens, which should work just fine. Blades seems to turn on and off. They never turn on and off without the engine running very well, so I'm just going to hop on it, see if we can get this thing to crank over. I'm going to drive it out and see if we can get it to run blade-wise at least. Got to get the brakes fixed, but oil change, air filter, put a carb on it too because the carb's flooding. Those are all relatively small things. This has been kind of small things so far. Let's see what happens. that's good. I just want to check the belt to make sure it's not wearing weird. At least for that. At least for that short a time, it does not appear to be wearing weird. I do need to probably cut the yard. I'll probably do it this afternoon with it. You can see that the rear of the deck here on the back is a little bit lower than the front. So, but hey, it's running, driving, and cutting, so great time to have some lunch, I suppose. After I go get some lunch, or have some lunch in the house, we'll level the deck, change the carb out, fix the brakes, give it a good wash, change the oil, change the air filter, and charge the battery up, or at least drive out and cut some grass with it or something. We got a, let's see, right front tire needs some ATF. Probably tape the seat up a little bit. But this thing should be cruising on here. Man, I hope I have it done today. Then it'll be ready to go a little bit later. Might have an interesting trade with this. I'll keep y'all updated on that as well. So I got the oil changed, put the deck on, leveled it. If y'all don't know how to level these, on the side here, you'll see, if you look under here, there's a couple of 9/16 inch nuts that are on this arm that you can raise and lower. You can do the ones in the front to raise, to kind of, if the front arms are really loose and the deck's sagging a lot, but generally you're going to use the side ones there. I don't really have a good discharge chute here, so with the spring, so what I did is I just cut the downward portion of this one off and put a couple of self-tapping screws in it. That worked for the last one that I did, but there in the middle of your screen is your adjustment point, so that's how you'll raise and lower it from side to side. Put something of equal height down there. A lot of times people laugh at me, but I use these oil filter boxes. I put 2 oil filter boxes, and usually the top of the oil filter box is where your highest level of your mower deck is. Sometimes maybe just a thumbnail above or a hair above, but generally. Y'all see I got the back wheel off now. A lot of this stuff I'm not really covering because I literally just covered it in the Southern States riding mower video that I did, which is probably going to be the one that just released on the channel a few days ago. The brake caliper is really bad on this. Just a bunch of dust and junk in there, so I got to get this in the vise and clean all of this out and brake free these with a punch and make sure they're sliding good. Get all this debris and stuff out of this caliper here, make sure the brake pad is doing what it needs to do in order to stop the machine. So I'm going to work on that. After I get that back together, this thing's ready to be test mode. I have changed the carburetor out and the fuel lines and the air filter, and so that's good. I think once I drive this thing around a little bit, I'll with it for about 20-30 minutes, the battery will be charged good enough to where I won't have to throw it on the charger, and we should be good. Obviously, I have to give it a wash. I'm pretty sure I already got this mower sold as soon as I finish it, so I'll keep you all updated on that as well. Alright guys, well I think that's about as good as it's going to get. I need to do a little bit of cleaning in the headlight lens, but cleaning wise, I forgot to show you all the mowing portion of it, but it did great. Fantastic. Cut the whole front yard, no hiccups, no nothing. So fixing all that stuff with the deck, mowed nice and level, so it's good. Put ATF in the right front. Put a little bit of tape on the seat because I honestly don't have a seat that's in better shape, And since this mower's already been painted red and has, you know, paint peeling and stuff in certain areas, like the guy didn't even take the footwells off to paint it. So somebody just did a quickie job on this. Footwells take, what, 1 minute to take off? So got it all back right, ready to go. Y'all saw it running and cutting just a second ago, and still doing a great job. Ready to go. I've got hopefully a buyer for this and a trade coming out of it as well. And it's not going to be a lawnmower, hint, hint, but that's going to be a whole separate video, so I'll save it for that. Alright guys, so that is everything on this green turned red Craftsman LT1000 lawn tractor. I love these things because a lot of times I've got all the parts that I need. I can turn them around real quick. They go out. I don't see them anymore. Hopefully this is the case for this one. Again, I got a potential trade deal in the works for this one. We'll see how all that materializes. But I'll do a separate video on that if it pans out. But if I were to sell this outright, I'd probably list it for $500 and clean it, put a little ATF on it, and shine it up a little bit. It might would go. What's weird is I had that Wizard rider for $350 for a week and didn't have a peep on it, and ended up, would you call it downselling somebody, because he wanted one that I had already sold the southern states, and then wanted something a little bit cheaper. I said, well, this is essentially the same mower, it's just like 13 years older, for $350, and got that, and he got that, and I got the money, and I was happy. So yet again, another Craftsman mower here. True Craftsman this time. It's got the name and everything on it, not one of them off-brand ones like the Wizard or the Southern States, which is exactly the same machine, just in a different color and different labels on it. So yeah, we're done with this. I appreciate y'all watching. I know it's been a lot of the same old here on the channel with these Craftsman mowers lately, but they're the easiest to turn around. I have the most parts available for them, and they bring money, and usually after I sell them, I ain't got to worry about them. So a lot of pluses abound there, and hopefully y'all see that as well in these videos, that these are significantly easier to fix and maintain than those MTDs, especially if you don't have a lot of mechanical knowledge and want something that's pretty straightforward to work on. These right here are what you should look for. Thanks again, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thanks for all the support. I will catch y'all on the next one.